Let me see. Okay. Here we are. We are Synthosys. We take care of organization in different ways, from leadership development to well-being, fitness, and organization development. And Synthosys is born from the synthesis of our expertise, me and Tarek. This is Tarek, if you want to chip in and tell about yourself.
You started with me. So guys,
Yeah.
we're not going to bore you with a lot of detail about ourselves, but in few words, so I started my career as a motorsports engineer with Pescarolo, working 24 hours of Le Mans. I worked on designing race cars, I have a PhD in vehicle dynamics, which helped me understand very well how to push performance out of the tires and have a winning race car. From that, I traveled a lot in my career from different countries, different cultures, and different jobs in product engineering, product development, project management, business consultancy, to even being a director for a hybrid company, and long story short, to end up in founding Synthosys. Because in few words, what I saw during my career is that if you don't understand people, you don't understand business. And one of the biggest issue in many companies, which we're going to dive deeper with this later, is that when you have people together, you can make wonderful things happen, but also a lot of things can go wrong. It's because of the culture embedded. We're talking about work culture, of the dynamics that is happening within the team. And this is why Synthosys was born. The fascination about how can we really harness the team dynamic of a team and make it excel in the best way possible.
Oh, I cannot go.
What's happening with you, Vanis?
Oh, yeah. I don't know, sometimes it doesn't respond to my command. So I have a less squiggle career compared to Tarek, but all from psychology. So I start from neuroscience for community psychology to land on the clinical side of psychology, especially groups where I was in love with groups. I work in different settings, from a hospital to forensic setting to tech companies. And I land, of course, in Synthosys because I have a passion for culture. Working with the employee assessment project, you see that how detrimental can be the workplace for people. So that's why we found our company Synthosys, to work with the community, to work with companies, to make everyone be able to express themselves freely and give the maximum of their ability for the company and for themselves, from themselves too. So today we're speaking a little bit about the leadership and the challenges that the leadership has nowadays. I don't know if someone want to say something or want to write something on the chat about the challenges that you face in your everyday jobs. I cannot see really anyone, nor the chat. So Tarek, did you have some input?
I am having another chat. Guys, share whatever you think, in your opinion, are the biggest leadership challenge. If it can be in your workplace or what you think where the world is going and how things are going right now, especially with a lot going on. So I can see Tamer is typing. Different personalities. That's what Tamer is saying. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Vanessa, next slide.
Yes. Okay. There we are. So this is the key leadership challenges that we're gathering through our experience. One is, for example, balancing mental health and the well-being issue with the task in the company, managing teams between remote and hybrid work, help with teams dynamics. There was someone saying about the different personalities. of their team, for example, dealing with the diversity, equality and inclusion can be a challenge. We see like leaders, they can struggle with the gap between theory and practice. Like, for example, they have in mind what they should do, but then when they have to do it, they struggle, they don't understand when to start. And this is the difficulties in integration, the theoretical models within your own personalities. So this is more or less the challenges that we see in our job every day, working with leaders. But all these challenges, they have different response and different ways to deal with them based on the context. So for
just
us,
before you continue as well, interesting,
yeah.
sorry to cut you, interesting in the chat as well, they wrote leading and motivating teams, which is very important and it fits into group dynamics. Resilience, very interesting one as well, which has been an issue lately as well. And own accountability to deliver. Very, very, very good one. Yeah.
Definitely, I agree with you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm sorry I cannot see the chat, so thank you for your input. So I will say that the context to dealing with these issues is very important, and the context in the work is, of course, the work's culture. So the work's culture is what gives, let's say, the personality of your company somehow, and it can be broke down in different components. On the top, we have the explicit behavior, so how people act in every day, how they dealing with customers, for example, the word they use, and all these things. The artifacts is about the things that are in place, like, for example, how people dress, or how the shape of the office, the desks, and all these things that are used every day and somehow guide our behavior in the office. Then there is another part that is this conscious part, and is the contracts and the norms. So the value of the company, the contracts, the policy that are in place, the tasks that we need to do in order to be paid every month, and so on and so on. And then there is the implicit assumptions. These are more hidden. We are not really aware of them most of the time. Like, for example, the way that we think, but we don't explicitate, for example, how leaders should behave, or our team should work, or how the communication should be. Sometimes, especially when we have new employee coming over, that they ask somehow, oh, why you're doing this? And someone replied, oh, we always done like this or in this way. And this is part of the implicit assumption. It's not something that we are completely aware of. And this sometimes is where the issue comes. So this is a research from 2002 from Psychologists Today, highlights how difficulties are to bring well-being tools for workers, and all the projects are not very well effective regarding well-being. So employees are struggling with their mental health. And this is a study on the 2024 that states basically the same, that the stress management, mindful classes, well-being apps are not enough. The interventions are not significant. They're not have any impact on the worker well-being or the job satisfaction. So where is the focus of these implementations? If we take the pyramid that we see before and we twist a little bit, all these implementation, they act on the top, on the explicit behavior, what is seen, what we can see. And this is not enough, usually, to change, to have an implementation of change that will last in time. For example, Tarek has an amazing example for daily life about how he implemented something to change the behavior actually will not work because there is something deeper that needs to change.
Okay, we promised you half an hour. I will try to a little bit go quickly, but we can give you the slides if you want. So we promised you case studies. I'm going to start with one which is not professional, it's personal, but I found it very funny. So back in Italy, when I moved to Italy a long time ago, I used to live with in a house sharing. And there was a small problem is that, you see, we were dividing the tasks in the house, which was happening every week, who will clean what. Few words is that I discovered there was a problem, is that we had a very small bin to recycle the bottle, which means whoever was supposed to empty the bin on that week had to go like 5 times per day because the bin is small. And even if you smash the bottles in it, it's going to get full in no time. We are 6 in a big house. So I decided to improve the system. Going quickly as an engineer, I have no time, many things to do. When I went, I found bigger bins, fantastic bins, you can open, close. I was like, perfect. So this now will help us to empty it once per week. So you see what I did here, I worked on the explicit behavior, on the superficial issue. Actually, what happened is that with the bigger bin, it was getting filled quicker and created a bigger problem. Is because now the people were not even bothered to squash the bottles when they throw them. And this for me was an eye-opener, is that when you don't work on the behavior, the people, and how they see the implementation of a solution, you're not effectively resolving the problem. So you see, so actually the real issue here was to make people understand what was the problem, how can we solve it, and what is required from us to do. And this, for me, I carry this example everywhere in any speech I do or even coaching I do, because it reflects that sometimes working on the superficial issue will not resolve it. And this links to many research that you can find a lot, that many interventions are not effective. It doesn't matter what you do, they are not effective in tackling the problems. Now, next slide, Vanessa, please. So this is why, in few words, at Synthosys, we have one simple sentence we say, we see organizations as icebergs, and we dive deep to create sustainable leadership. Let's look below the surface, what is happening, and how we can really tackle issue from the bottom up to create sustainable change. And then, Vanis, next slide, please. Perfect. Now, I want to share with you a very famous model called the ACL model, Action-Centered Leadership. It was created by John Adair, I think, a big philosopher in leadership, a lot of books. And I love this model. It's very simple. It says you put a leader at the center of 3 main elements: the task, the team, and the individual. Where the individual might need support like coaching, like mental health, understanding what they need, how they can perform better in the team, and then how the team can be as effective as possible, and what is the task to achieve. Now, despite me using this model and even using it in coaching sometimes, what we discovered and tried to go deeper is that when you talk about the task, which is the outcome, you are more in the management sphere. So you try to look at how can we achieve that. So that's more in the management. So we tweaked it at Synthosys and created our own model, which is similar, inspired by it, but we call it the TIC model. So it's team, individual, and culture. And what you try to do is that you as a leader, it doesn't matter what is the company you're working in, you have to put yourself at the center of, I do have individuals which might have their own belief of what are the values and what is really happening in a company. You saw many times I saw on website, a company will tell you, our value is innovation, embracing creativity of our staff, creating amazing environment. But then the staff will tell you, actually, they don't listen to us and blah, blah, blah. Our ideas are never implemented. We have no voice and so on. So you have to understand as a leader, what is your company saying as values? What is the individual feeling? How they can perform within the team? And is the team dynamics matching the real culture of the organization? Because even what we saw many times through coaching and even Vanessa through mental fitness is that you might have a leader, which I'm giving you a real example, but without names or company, that try to protect their team from a toxic culture in the company. And the result of this, 99%, is a quick burnout because the leader is so protective. They want to protect their team. They have an amazing team culture, but it doesn't fit as a bubble in the whole culture. And this is where the tick model can help you to understand how to match the three elements and create that balance. Now, we're going really fast, but happy to answer any question, guys, by mail or one-to-one. Can you go to the next slide, please, Vanessa? Now, here we're sharing with you real data. So we gave you the story of the bin, but we cannot let you go with this only. So this was a real intervention done on a big research team, okay? And what we did through our models, we can assess what is the culture that is dominating and what is the team dynamics involved. Now, what we're showing you here is only the culture, okay? So step back, the culture is divided for us in 4 categories, which is inspired by the OKAI, another test about culture as well. So you have collaborate, when you have a culture about collaboration. You have create, for us it's the innovative culture. You have compete, how we can compete with the market. So the OKAI call it the market culture, how to compete. And control, how much is the hierarchy, the control, and the norms in the company. And when we run our models on a team, this is what came out, as you can see. There is a big difference between what people see the culture is compared to other in the team. So look at the orange profile, which is similar to many other profiles where the focus was on like, we have a collaborative culture, you see? And they like that when we did the intervention. We talked about this. However, if you look at the red one, without mentioning names or which company, that was their leader, the leader of the team. And what you can notice is that the leader cannot see that collaborative family environment culture. And actually the leader is more in the compete and the create. So compete and create. Competition, how we push performance and how we can really innovate. Now, none of them are wrong, but what we're trying to show you here in few words, and you have the QR code to read a little bit about the case study, not in details, on our website, is that this team had communication issue, which on the surface, if you go with a small intervention to teach them about communication, like guys have to communicate clearly, to listen, yes, you're going to give them some theory, but you're not tackling the real delta of perception. Some people are seeing collaboration, some people are seeing competition, and this is driving the team in different direction. So this was a real case I wanted to share with you in few words. Again, happy to tell you more details if you want, but again, we promised you 30 minutes, so we're not going to go above that. I think, Vanessa, that was the last slide.
Yeah,
perfect.
Basically,
So,
yes, this is our course.
I don't know if you want to brush here. We don't want to do a sales pitch here, but in few words, so we designed at Synthosys based on our experience and insight in the industry 2 leadership course, which we call the More Leadership Journey. And we walk through 5 pillars to help people understand as leaders where you go from your compass as a leader and your value to reaching a future-proof leadership. And through that journey as well, it's all around understanding the unconscious. So you get all the models or our paper in coaching, in intervention, organization about culture, team dynamics, and so on. These are the 2 programs. Again, happy to send you any brochure if you want more details. It's a small cohort, hands-on experience. The Prison of Self-Discovery is for, let's say, emerging and to until senior leaders. It's online 11 weeks, while the Manskip Expedition is an intensive 5-day workshop retreat for senior and executives. And happy to answer anything by mail if you are interested, guys. And lastly, the beauty of our course, they are accredited by the Institute of Leadership in UK. You get 1 year free membership with post-nominal letters, member and fellow invitation, so the highest grades. And you get a lot of perks between the certificate, of course, a lot of learning journey with the Institute and continued professional development, and so on. Now, I think this, Vanessa, was the end of the presentation. I don't know if we can offer 5 minutes for any question, but also we're happy to answer by email, so don't feel the pressure, guys. We have the recording. We're going to put it online as well for the people who cannot attend. And we're happy to answer if you have any question in those 5 minutes. You can speak up or even in the chat. Please don't hesitate. Okay, I can see someone writing in the chat something. Okay, but I see there's no questions, guys. So we thank you a lot for your time. We hope that you find this somehow useful and intriguing. Try to think about the way you lead in a different way. Yeah, the task is very important, but we believe that if you set the proper tone and culture, dynamics, and individual, the task will get done automatically. And this is what makes leadership different than management. Not to replace management, is to complement it. So thank you for your time. We're going to stop the recording now. You can follow us on LinkedIn. We're going to put the video as well, the recording online. And I hope you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye. Bye-bye.